Hey everyone, welcome back to Wellness Begins Within. So glad you're joining us today. We're going to pull back the curtain on something truly, wild happening inside your body. Every single second. Totally unseen. It's pretty astonishing, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you stop and think about these continuous, really intricate processes that let your body maintain peak performance and, good health.
Absolutely. It's easy to take for granted.
Right. So our mission today, like always in these deep dives, is to give you that shortcut to being well-informed. We're digging into the sources you shared with us, and for this one, we're zoning in on two absolutely vital cellular processes, often overlooked, I think, autophagy and apoptosis. We're going to explore what these kind of complex terms actually mean, how they work relentlessly to keep you healthy, and importantly, what happens when they maybe go wrong, and what you can actually do to support them. The goal here is really to give you a crystal clear understanding of these biological wonders and just how relevant they are for your day-to-day well-being.
And what's fascinating, truly fascinating, is just how foundational these processes are. They aren't minor footnotes. They are genuine pillars of your physiological resilience. Absolutely critical for maintaining homeostasis.
Homeostasis, that constant balance.
Exactly. That balanced state of good health your body is always striving for. And it's all, intricately orchestrated, ultimately under the control of your central nervous system. It's cellular intelligence at its absolute finest.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting with autophagy. The word itself, self-eating, it sounds a bit alarming. Can you demystify that for us? What exactly is autophagy and why is self-eating actually a good thing here?
Yeah, it's a great question. The name can definitely be misleading at first glance. Think of autophagy. It comes from the Greek auto for self and phagein, meaning to eat. Think of it as your cell's incredibly efficient internal recycling crew. Its main job is for the cell to degrade, to break down parts of itself. Specifically, we're talking old, broken down proteins, macromolecules, even whole organelles that aren't useful anymore or have gotten damaged. It's basically the cell's sophisticated cleanup and, importantly, renewal program.
Renewal. Okay, so not just cleaning.
Right. And it also acts as this amazing internal defense mechanism. It helps get rid of invading pathogens like viruses or bacteria that might have gotten inside the cell. And this whole breakdown process, it happens in a special compartment inside the cell called a lysosome,
Lysosome, got it.
which is just packed with powerful enzymes designed for this. Now, this whole process, autophagy, it's primarily activated when your cells feel metabolic stress. Things like nutrient deprivation, not enough food signals, or growth factor depletion, or even low oxygen levels, which is called hypoxia.
So stress kicks it into gear, but you said recycling crew. It's not just about getting rid of junk then. Is it actively resourceful?
Exactly. That's what's truly amazing about it. It's incredibly resourceful. It's not just tidying up the old and damaged. It's about intelligent recycling. The broken down materials, they don't just vanish, they get repurposed.
How so?
Well, for example, amino acids that come from degraded proteins. They can be shuttled over to your mitochondria and used there to produce energy through the Krebs cycle. This can literally rescue the cell or even the whole organism during times of stress, like, when food is scarce.
Wow.
And maybe even more elegantly, these recycled bits can be used to build new functional molecules. So those same amino acids, instead of being burned for energy, might be sent to the ribosomes to produce brand new healthy proteins. What's really astonishing is how autophagy doesn't just clean house, it actively rejuvenates.
Rejuvenates.
Yeah, think of it like your body's built-in longevity switch. It's crucial for everything from, say, a resilient gut to a healthier heart.
That's amazing. So it's really not just about basic survival. It's key for thriving. Can you give us a few concrete examples? How does this cellular spring cleaning actually impact our overall health day to day?
Oh, absolutely. Proper autophagy is truly essential for your overall health.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely plays a role in extending lifespan, and it's crucial for both preventing certain diseases and helping us recover. For instance, it's critical for keeping your intestinal epithelial cells, the lining of your gut, working well. It regulates them, helps the gut's immune response, and even impacts the health of your gut microbiota.
The gut connection, always important.
Always. It also contributes significantly to maintaining heart function, cardiac function, and can even help improve it after heart disease has occurred. We also see its role in helping prevent type 2 diabetes, and it offers protection against renal senescence.
Which is kidney aging, right?
Exactly, kidney aging. And here's a really powerful example of its precision. Autophagy can selectively target and remove mitochondria Those are the cell's power plants that have been damaged by ethanol, say from alcohol consumption, specifically from your liver cells. So it actively protects your liver from that kind of toxicity. It's quite the cellular superhero, really.
Okay, wow, a superhero recycling crew. I
Yeah.
like that. So we've covered the internal cleanup crew, autophagy, but then there's its powerful counterpart you mentioned, apoptosis. This is where, for me, it gets really fascinating, the body's precision demolition team. Can you walk us through what apoptosis is and why programmed cell death is actually vital?
Certainly, yeah. If autophagy is the recycling crew, apoptosis is absolutely the precision demolition team. A great analogy. Apoptosis is defined simply as programmed cell death, but the key word there is programmed. It's not random, it's not chaotic cell death like necrosis. It's a highly controlled, very intentional process that is absolutely essential for life as we know it.
Essential. How so?
Well, it fulfills many vital roles. For instance, during development, when an embryo or fetus is forming, apoptosis is necessary for literally fashioning the body. A classic example is how apoptosis removes the tissue between the developing bones in your hands and feet. Without it, you'd be born with webbed fingers and toes.
Ah, okay. I've heard that one.
Right. It's also essential for maintaining healthy cell populations in all your various tissues later in life. It makes sure damaged or diseased cells are swiftly, efficiently removed. Plus, many cells just have a built-in lifespan, a prescribed lifetime. Your red blood cells, for example, live for about 120 days.
Okay.
Certain white blood cells might need replacing every couple of weeks. Apoptosis is the elegant process that removes these old cells so they can be replaced with young, healthy ones, maintaining your optimal health.
That's constantly happening. What kind of scale are we talking about?
It's staggering, really. The average adult human loses somewhere between 50 and 70 billion cells every single day due to apoptosis.
Billion with a B.
With a B, yeah. That's roughly, say, 2 out of every 1,000 cells in your body being replaced daily. Some estimates go even higher, maybe 1 in 100. It's happening constantly, all beneath your conscious awareness.
That level of turnover is incredible. But, when we hear cell death, it just sounds so negative, maybe destructive. So this raises a really important question. How on earth does the body remove billions of cells daily without causing total chaos or, widespread inflammation?
That's precisely where the genius, the distinguishing features of apoptosis come in, and why it's so vital it works correctly. Unlike other forms of cell death, apoptosis never involves inflammation. That's key.
No inflammation.
None. And crucially, the cell membrane, the outer skin of the cell, it never breaks down or disintegrates, spilling the contents everywhere. Instead, what happens is all the cellular components, the DNA, RNA, all the little organelles inside, they're broken down neatly inside the cell. The cell itself actually shrinks down and it forms these small bubble-like protrusions on its surface. They're called blebs.
Blebs.
These blebs then break off into smaller intact packages called apoptotic bodies, and these are immediately recognized and basically vacuumed up, ingested by specialized cleanup cells like macrophages, and then they're safely destroyed internally by the macrophage. This whole elegant process is a vital protective mechanism because if the cell just burst open and spilled its contents out into your tissues, that could lead to potentially disastrous results. Toxicity, widespread inflammation, autoimmune reactions.
So it's incredibly neat and tidy, contained.
Extremely neat. Very tidy. Now, how does it get started? Apoptosis can be initiated through one of 2 main sophisticated pathways. First, there's what's called the intrinsic pathway or the mitochondrial pathway.
Okay.
This pathway gets triggered when the cell itself senses serious internal stress. Maybe there's significant DNA damage, or proteins are misfolding badly, or perhaps there's an infection starting inside. In response, the cell's mitochondria, which usually just generate power, act like internal alarm bells. They release a specific signaling molecule, cytochrome C.
Cytochrome C.
Right. And that release triggers a precise cascade of enzymes called caspases. Think of caspases like tiny molecular scissors that just meticulously dismantle the cell from the inside out, making sure everything is neatly packaged up for that macrophage removal.
So, triggered from the inside. What's the other way?
The second pathway is the extrinsic pathway. This one is initiated by signals coming from other cells. Often, this involves your immune cells, like certain white blood cells, which are constantly patrolling and scanning the outer membranes of your body's cells. They're looking for any abnormalities, any signs that might indicate an infection or damage, or even becoming cancerous.
Like security guards checking IDs.
Exactly like that. And when one of these immune cells detects an abnormal cell membrane, it can release specific molecules that bind to receptors on that abnormal cell's surface. These external signals are then relayed inside down to the cell's nucleus, basically instructing it to turn on specific genes and produce chemicals that activate those same caspase enzymes, triggering apoptosis.
So internal stress triggers one path, external signals trigger the other.
Precisely. Both the intrinsic and extrinsic pathways are absolutely crucial for eliminating potentially malignant cells or cells infected with pathogens. The difference is just what pulled the initial trigger.
Okay, so we have these incredible internal systems. The recycling crew, autophagy, and the demolition team, apoptosis, working tirelessly. It's amazing. But what happens when these crucial processes don't work correctly? How does that affect our health?
Yeah, you're right to ask, because like any complex system in your body, both autophagy and apoptosis can become defective. They might become ineffective, not doing their job properly, or in some cases, they can even cause damage themselves if they're, say, overactive.
What causes them to go wrong?
There are several common culprits. Things like chronic inflammation, which is a big one, oxidative stress damage from free radicals. Various diseases themselves can disrupt these processes. Nutritional deficiencies are also key, especially lack of sufficient protein or certain vitamins and minerals. The natural process of aging, unfortunately, can reduce efficiency. Certain genetic mutations can play a role. Exposure to environmental toxins, like pesticides, is another factor. And of course, various bacterial or viral infections can interfere. So it's a lot of factors that can potentially throw these finely tuned systems off balance.
Okay, so if they're thrown off balance,
Yeah.
what are the consequences? How does this connect to disease?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, defective autophagy and apoptosis can and do contribute significantly to the start and the progression of many serious diseases. Let's look at abnormal autophagy first. When that recycling crew isn't working right, it can have really profound consequences. For instance, if autophagy is disrupted in your pancreatic T cells, those are the ones that make insulin in Goshen. It can lead to insulin deficiency and problems with blood sugar regulation, like in diabetes.
Right.
And tragically, when autophagy really falters, we see strong links to some devastating conditions. Think neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's or ALS, where brain cells can't effectively clear out harmful protein aggregates, or various types of cancer, liver, lung, pancreas, colorectal, breast cancer, where disruption of this autophagic cell quality control can allow tumor development to begin or progress.
That's quite a spectrum of impact. It sounds pretty bleak when autophagy goes wrong. Is there any good news on that front?
There is some good news, thankfully. Research shows that restoring normal autophagy function can significantly aid recovery from certain diseases. We see this, for example, in the improvement in cardiac function after heart disease onset when autophagy is supported. And while some causes of abnormal autophagy, like, aging or specific genetic mutations, are largely unavoidable, many others can be minimized
Oh,
by actively avoiding or limiting exposure to known environmental toxins where possible, reducing the risk of bacterial and viral infections through good hygiene practices, and lowering oxidative stress by avoiding destructive activities. Smoking is a major one. Excessive alcohol consumption is another. Even your diet plays a really significant role. Certain foods, like diets very high in unhealthy fats, have been shown to negatively impact autophagy function.
okay, so lifestyle choices definitely matter there. What about apoptosis? What happens when the demolition team messes up?
Right. Abnormal apoptosis also plays a role in many different conditions. It can go wrong in two main ways. Sometimes the problem is excessive apoptosis, too much programmed cell death. Healthy cells are getting the demolition signal when they shouldn't,
Meeting too.
leading to tissue damage and loss of function. We see this pattern in many autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis or inflammatory bowel disease, where the body mistakenly attacks and eliminates its own healthy cells. It's also seen in various degenerative diseases. Conversely, the other major problem is too little apoptosis. Not enough demolition happening.
And that sounds like
Cancer. Exactly. Too little apoptosis is a hallmark of cancer. Cancer cells are notorious for developing clever mechanisms to suppress apoptosis. They essentially tell the demolition team to stand down, to ignore the signals. They might express high levels of anti-apoptosis proteins, or they might downregulate the proteins that normally promote apoptosis. This allows the original abnormal cancer stem cell to survive and avoid being removed from the body.
letting it grow into a tumor.
Precisely. Giving it the freedom it needs to divide and develop into a malignant tumor. And many of the same factors that can cause abnormal autophagy can also negatively affect apoptosis, those genetic mutations, oxidative stress, toxin exposure, infections, and again, nutrient deficiencies. So the same principle applies. Avoiding negative stimuli where you can and adopting good health habits can help promote proper, healthy apoptosis, ensuring it happens when it should and doesn't happen when it shouldn't.
Okay, this is incredibly insightful. It really highlights how fundamental these processes are, which brings us to the really practical part. This is where we bring it back to you, the listener. Knowing how absolutely vital these internal systems are, how can we actively support this amazing internal recycling crew and demolition team through, well, what we put into our bodies? What are the practical applications here for your daily life?
Yes, this is where knowledge becomes power, right? Because knowledge is most valuable when it's understood and actually applied. And you're right, certain nutrients are indeed vital for the proper function of both autophagy and apoptosis. Let's start with autophagy. We know that things like caloric restriction and intermittent fasting are major stimulants. They're widely recognized now as effective ways to enhance this cellular cleaning process.
Fasting gets a lot of attention for that.
It does, and for good reason based on the science. But beyond just when you eat, what you eat provides the essential building blocks. Proper nutrition is absolutely necessary for normal autophagy to even take place effectively. There are many naturally occurring nutrients that help maintain healthy autophagy through various mechanisms. Studies have shown that various phytonutrients, these are plant compounds, things like resveratrol, which you find in grapes and red wine,
Red wine noted.
smiling, in moderation, of course. Also, curcumin from turmeric, green tea catechins, and other polyphenols found in colorful plants. These have all been shown to induce autophagy, and they offer significant health benefits, for instance, in supporting brain health, fighting neurodegenerative processes, and even protecting vision, like preventing retinal degeneration.
So plant power is key.
Definitely. Specific amino acids also play a crucial role in regulating autophagy, often through a pathway called mTOR. mTOR is like a master cellular switch. When it's highly active, usually signifying nutrient abundance, it actually inhibits autophagy. It tells the cell, we have plenty of resources, no need to recycle right now.
Interesting. So sometimes less input signals, more cleaning.
In a way, yes, that's part of why fasting works. Amino acid deprivation can signal the cell to ramp up autophagy. It's about balance. Also, polyunsaturated fatty acids, particularly omega-3s, think fish oil, flax seeds have been shown to induce autophagy and also enhance the function of those lysosomes, the recycling centers themselves. And lastly, we can't forget micronutrients. Essential vitamins and minerals, zinc, selenium, other trace elements, they all play indispensable roles. Deficiencies in these can definitely impair the autophagy process.
Okay, that's a lot for autophagy. What about supporting the demolition team? Apoptosis, is it the same stuff?
There's overlap, but also specifics. For apoptosis, nutrients are equally powerful. And interestingly, they can work both ways. They can help stimulate apoptosis when needed, like for removing damaged cells, but also help limit it when it's excessive and harmful. They help restore abnormal processes back towards normal.
So they fine-tune it.
Exactly, they help regulate it. For example, rosmarinic acid, it's a polyphenol found in herbs like rosemary and sage, has been shown to inhibit something called DNA glycation.
Glycation, that's sugar damage, right?
Right. When sugar molecules abnormally stick to your DNA, causing damage, rosmarinic acid can reduce this, effectively removing a stimulus that might otherwise trigger unwanted destructive apoptosis in healthy cells. Furthermore, a whole range of vitamins, specifically vitamins A, D, and E, and minerals like selenium, zinc, and magnesium, along with other polyphenols, play critical roles in regulating both the intrinsic and the extrinsic apoptotic pathways. They help ensure that cells undergo apoptosis in that controlled, beneficial manner we talked about. In essence, these nutrients help induce normal, beneficial cell removal when it's needed, or inhibit when it's not, really helping to maintain that crucial balance for tissue health.
So it's not just about one magic bullet nutrient.
Not at all. And that leads to a really important point, the synergy principle. There's accumulating evidence that strongly supports the idea that combinations of dietary nutrients are often far more effective than just taking single components in isolation.
Why is that?
Because different nutrients can target multiple different pathways simultaneously. Or they might exhibit potentiation, where one nutrient enhances the effect of another. They work together synergistically. This synergy can significantly enhance their combined effects in supporting overall health or even in helping manage various diseases. So, the big takeaway message here is clear. Eating a diverse array of whole, nutrient-dense foods is absolutely vital for supporting both proper autophagy and proper apoptosis. Variety is key.
What an absolutely incredible deep dive. Seriously fascinating stuff. We've unpacked the truly astonishing roles of autophagy, your body's internal cleaning and recycling crew in apoptosis, That precision demolition team orchestrating programmed, controlled cell removal. Both are constantly working away in the background, totally essential for everything from their development before birth to daily upkeep, and critically important for preventing and recovering from disease. It really makes you pause and just think about the invisible ballet happening inside us every single second, doesn't it?
It really does. And, there's always more to learn. Multiple perspectives always enrich understanding. Our hope, really, is that by gaining this deeper understanding of these fundamental cellular processes, autophagy and apoptosis, you feel more empowered. Empowered to make informed choices that truly support your cellular health from the inside out.
Absolutely. Empowerment through understanding. Love it. So, as you go about your day-to-day, maybe just consider for a moment how these microscopic, constant activities happening within your cells, this cleaning, this recycling, this controlled removal, how they literally underpin your entire well-being. And maybe ask yourself, what small, consistent habit could you introduce starting today to really nourish these fundamental processes? Knowing the potentially profound impact it might have on your long-term health. Perhaps it's adding just one more color to your plate at lunch. Or maybe it's taking that pause before reaching for a snack, tuning into your body's signals. Next time you consider, say, a short fast, or choose that vibrant plate of vegetables, remember, you're not just eating. You're actively communicating with your cellular recycling crew and your demolition team. You're subtly influencing the very blueprint of your health. Thank you so much for joining us on Wellness Begins Within for this deep dive. Keep exploring, stay curious. We'll see you next time.